Welcome, everybody, to a very special video detailing January 29th's new moon in the sign of Aquarius. It's Mr. Meyer with the fire, here with my brother,
Christian, aka Aquarius World.
and we're going to break down this energy so everybody can thoroughly understand it. So, if you enjoy this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think about this video, what you're willing in for this new moon cycle, and what you want to see in the next videos. We're going to start by talking about the new moon, the sign of Aquarius, and then we're going to go sign by sign for every one of the zodiac. So if you want to check out the timestamps below, you can watch your specific sign, but you could also watch the whole video and get a more holistic picture. And this is actually really beautiful because you are an Aquarius, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. So this is
Like,
like the dynamic
hell
duo. I'm a Leo, he's the Aquarius, and it's like, that's evil twin right there. So what's it like being an Aquarius?
yeah.
Put you on the
Wow.
spot right quick.
Yeah, putting me on the spot, but I appreciate
Yeah.
it. It's an
There's gonna be a
opportunity.
lot more videos like this too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's gonna be a lot more, just like the first many. But
Hmm.
being an Aquarius, it's like being ahead of your time and like almost having like an existential crisis at times because you're just like so far ahead of time and it's like having to learn how to slow down
Hmm.
because I'm going so fast and like on the psychic aspect of things it's like being able to know things well ahead of time because well you're practically from there.
Right. It's like
Yeah.
that's the planet you live on, basically.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the new moon, how this works. Then we'll go even deeper into Aquarius so we can know what's really coming and then we can jump right into it. So the new moon is the beginning of the lunar cycle. And as you guys probably can tell, we're bringing in this Aquarius energy. So that's really beautiful. And this cycle lasts about 28 and a half days. And over that time, you can watch the moon wax and wane. We start at new. We have 2 weeks of waxing as the moon fills up. And then we have a full moon and then 2 weeks of waning, and we head back to the new moon. So if you're looking for the moon around now, you're probably not going to see it because it's the dark moon. And we're going to do some divination in this video as well. This is from the Moonology deck. Is that right?
Yep,
Moonology?
mythology. Yeah.
The new moon in Aquarius. This says, if we can focus, it says, bring love into this situation. So the thing about the new moon, it's a new beginning. This is time for us to plant new seeds and set our intentions. What do you think? Did I cover it? What else would you like to add to that?
Yeah. This intuitively, this is a new time to really take a chance on yourself, bet on yourself, really really innovate in, the area in which Aquarius is in your chart, you know. So it's
Absolutely.
giving like fresh ideas, like how can you innovate this particular aspect of your life and
Yeah. Take it to a new level.
yeah, take it to a new level, and it'll
Right.
create a domino effect on all the other houses.
Hmm. Yeah. Aquarius is really one of my favorite signs. Even though I am a Leo, I have strong Aquarius in my chart. I mean, Christian and I, we are from the Uranus Aquarius generation too. So, on the deepest level. And I look up to King because he's got his sun, he's got Uranus, he's got Neptune, you've got Lilith, you've got
Mercury.
Mercury. Yeah, you got all the Aquarius, man. It's like, damn, some people didn't get any. You probably took it all.
Yeah.
But, somebody had to have it.
Yeah.
So Aquarius, this is the 11th sign of the zodiac. And I think it's worth noting that on that same spectrum that we were talking about, whatever intentions that you set for this cycle, they're going to carry on and grow into the whole cycle. We'll carry this energy until the next lunation, our new moon in Pisces, which is going to be somewhere in February. I'm going to get
Yes.
the exact date. It's going to be the
Late.
27th of February. Am I correct?
Yes.
27th, right. So basically, we got a lot of Aquarius to cover, and it's going to be super fun. So Aquarius is the 11th sign, and it's symbolized by the water bearer, and that's a human carrying and pouring out some water. And what's really interesting about this sign, which I know is a trip for a lot of people, is that this is not actually a water sign, it's a air sign. So how do you relate to that? What do you think?
Yeah, I was
I'll
literally
drink to that.
yeah trying to
Cheers. Make sure you
dude.
guys stay hydrated or you
Yeah,
die.
make sure you guys stay hydrated. Yeah, make sure
Mm-hmm.
you pour into yourself. Especially as a water bear. It's like, um,
100%.
uh, yeah. Gosh, I lost my train of thought.
About the air sign, like, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, as an air sign, yeah, it makes sense. Because the yeah, a lot of people mistake Aquarius as a water sign just because it has the word aqua in it.
Right,
But
that too, 100%.
yeah. But it's the only zodiac sign that's of a human. Everything else is either like, like Sagittarius, like bow and arrow, or like, or some of the
Hmm. Or animal.
yeah. But Aquarius is the only human, so it's like the humanitarian, and it's like the water, the water represents the knowledge that we pour onto the collective. As,
Yeah, I love that. And it's
coming
more intellectual, as opposed to emotional.
Yeah, and it's coming from the air or the ether, so it's coming like descending onto, within the
Hmm.
collective consciousness. So, um, that's like
That's beautiful.
pretty, yeah, it's pretty beautiful. Yeah.
So I think like as a symbol, this sign, it obviously reflects our humanity. It talks about our connection with everything. It reflects our individuality. It shows our rationality. This is not just the air sign, it's fixed air, and that means not changing, stabilized thoughts. To me, Aquarius also represents the truth, things that make a lot of sense. Aquarius rules over the 11th house as well. So this sign is the most progressive, the most future oriented as well. There's two rulers. There's Saturn and Uranus are the two ruling planets of Aquarius. So on that same spectrum, this sign does have a lot to say about reality, the truth, but also the future. And it's probably the most chaotic and eccentric, individualistic sign. Uranus is going to shake things up. It's not for normal. It's very eclectic. It likes to do things unique, and it has the tendency to raise the vibration of everything that it touches. So I really like that because everybody has Aquarius within the chart, but wherever this new moon is going to hit, we're going to have a new beginning in that part of your life, and things are going to go to a whole new level. And I would just say, expect the unexpected. Expect to do things in a more direct, unique way. How do you expect unexpected? I don't really know. Anything can happen. But I would just say, I think the bottom line is the truth. How can we change things up? How can we revolutionize things to make more sense within your life? So, is there anything else you want to add to Aquarius? Because I feel like
Yeah,
that's a decent
it's
base.
yeah, I'm glad that you had brought up, Saturn, Uranus, because, that's going to be the rulers of this new moon. So really utilizing that Saturn energy to kind of help um stabilize and anchor in whatever it is you're trying to make changes in whatever area of your life, and that Uranus energy to kind of just shake things up and really just
Mhm.
kind of just break the tradition of like routine, breaking up the routine and switching things up, and
I love it.
like the full energy, and
Yeah.
Saturn, Aquarius is the masculine ruler of Saturn, which is, for those of you out there who um are like new to astrology, and in traditional astrology, each planet has two rulers. There's a masculine ruler and there's a feminine ruler. So
Mhm.
Aquarius being the masculine ruler of Saturn, which is like taking action,
Yeah,
and
100%. Right. And it's like the feminine one is Capricorn, which, that talks about the reality itself, how we receive the world and its limitations. But then Aquarius wants to build off of it as well. So what I really I'm glad you brought that up because while Aquarius kind of brings us this free, high-minded perspective, none of this is going to work without work. There's this need for newness, but at the same time, without structure, without, you know, volition, nothing really manifests if we're not disciplined or we don't actually want to build, so it's going to
Yeah.
require some effort to create
Mhm.
our dreams. They're not just going to build themselves. Some assembly is going to be
Right.
required. And
And
there's a phrase I want to also say that really resonates in my heart right now is not to overestimate what you can do in a day, but don't underestimate what you can do in a year. Anything can happen in a day. And if we just look for these, 1% improvements every single day and we focus, we ignore our distractions, we can really make tremendous change within our personal lives and the collective as a whole. And my heart also wants to say on that same note is that, Uranus takes things to the highest level. And when we think about the nature of Aquarius being our individuality, I think one of the highest expressions of this energy is leadership. And the question then becomes, how can you be a leader in your own life? How can you inspire other people? What influence do you want to bring to the world? Because regardless if we choose to see it or not, everything's energy. We're always influencing the world for better or for worse. And there's something called the melotheistic man, as we're talking about the zodiac. Aries is in the head, Pisces in the feet, and even the planets correspond to the different body parts. And some would say that Uranus really is our consciousness itself. So this is very powerful energy, and it really asks us to focus and to pay
yeah.
attention to what we're paying attention to because we always get what we're paying for. I think now more than ever, there's so much to be distracted by, and there's so much negativity in the world, and you can feed into it, or you can choose to create your reality. My heart is like fluttering, man. I'm excited about
Dude,
it.
yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think that's a pretty good picture. I will say and definitely add in more if I forget anything or if you just feel called to say. But I think what's also worth noting is that everybody has a very unique and special natal chart unto themselves. So while we go through these 12 signs, it's going to be really important that you follow along with your chart and be aware if you have any planets in Aquarius, because these are going to be activated in the new moon. If you have any planets in Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, they'll also be activated through square opposition, Libra, Gemini, through trine, and any planet sitting at around 9 degrees or 10 degrees, they're also going to be activated by this new moon energy. So that's pretty important. And if you guys don't know what this is, because it's a whole language. If this is sounding very new, definitely hit the link in the description and you can book a personal reading through either me or Christian or grab Simplified Astrology and break it down really easy. Okay. Anything else to add, brother?
Yeah.
Let me
And,
pull the chart up too as we're
and
talking.
Aquarius is also the visionary as well. So it's like making sure that you have a clear vision,
Hmm.
because and then taking action on because I had channeled this for the South Node Virgo, North Node Pisces is like I think I said something along the lines of like, let me look for it because
Yeah, definitely pull it up.
yeah, I need to pull it up because
I think
uh,
it's worth going into that too because this is the monthly time frame,
mhm,
and that's powerful. A lot can happen in this month, but it's great to put context for the rest of the planets as well.
mhm,
I mean, and while you're pulling it up, I want to add, Pluto is in the sign of Aquarius, and it's going to be there for the next 20 years. So get comfortable with this energy, get familiar with it. It's going to be massive change on a collective level. The funny, weird thing about Pluto is that it's so slow. It takes about 250 years to orbit around the sun. Sometimes we don't actually see what the planet is going to do until the kids born under the transit get old enough to assume positions of power. For instance, Donald Trump's Pluto Leo ass, assuming positions of power now. You can see it right now, what that Leo energy is doing.
mhm.
So there's
Yeah.
a lot of new kids on the block being born with this Pluto Aquarius energy. And I think the further you go from the sun, the harder it is to grasp the planet. So
Mhm,
simplicity is really key. Pluto is the soul, and you'll see this in your own natal chart. But when you watch Pluto in transit, this is the world soul. And that's something a lot of people don't think about that much. The fact that the world has a soul, and the soul of the world is begging for more freedom. It's begging for more truth, for more autonomy, for individual rights. Pluto is a planet, I'd say Uranus as well. And you kind of have Uranus ruling over Pluto right now. And this can represent mass upheaval. And that's what I said briefly, saying that, there's a lot of negativity in the world that you can really pay attention to. And some of it can't be avoided, because there's massive changes happening in society. We just got a new president, and I don't want this to be a political video, but we can talk about those things as necessary, but you know, more human rights, man. That's really the message, is like not less. And I think to say the very least, old white men shouldn't be making laws about women's bodies, among other things. Makes you want to breathe a sigh of relief for the whole world, man. Like, good God, stressful. But I digressful. Oh man.
Yeah, that I totally and actually it's interesting that you brought up Pluto because this new moon is gonna be within orb of, of Pluto. So
Oh yeah, 100%.
mhm.
Yeah, so I mean, like to build off that, gang, this is gonna be an interesting month. I know we just had our new US president inaugurated like less than a week ago too. So I mean, he wasted no time to, pardon people and repeal certain laws and pass new ones. So it's like, you're gonna hear a lot of things changing in the mainstream over this next month in global events too. Beyond personal issues, there's gonna be a lot of interesting things. Like I said, expecting the unexpected. Nobody's really sure what the future holds unless we create it ourselves. So you were mentioning the North Node in Pisces, that's going to be a transit for about 18 months, the North Node of the moon. And the North Node kind of shows our direction in the world. And, Pisces is the last sign. It's the most spiritual sign that we have. Did you find it?
Yeah, I found it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Um, so this is a channel that my higher self gave me. I think it was just about a week ago now. Starting this, and I said, "Vision without works is dead. Faith without works is dead. However, works without a vision is also dead, leading yourself to a place where you don't want to be because you're not clear on where you want to be. Some of us have led ourselves astray. A vision is a compass. It's just as important as action, but action without a vision is directionless. Vision without action breeds stagnation."
Yeah, 100%. I
Yeah.
love that. And there's going to be a more mystical undertone, or maybe overtone, you could say, to the next 18 months with Pisces. And we have a Pisces stellium in the sky right now. We have Saturn, which will be there for a while, Neptune as well. Venus will be out within a couple weeks, but that North Node will be there for 18 months. So, there it's all about vision, it's about dreams. But at the end of the day, if there is no work and if there's no clarity in the vision, where are we going? We could spin our wheels forever. So I want to really like dive deep into saying really succinctly, clarity is power. Clarity is power, and our consciousness is the issue with this current cycle. What are we focusing on? You can turn on the TV or turn on your phone and look at a world full of problems and natural disasters and, political unrest and inequality and injustice and pain and suffering. And you can create more of that by focusing on it, you know? Which is unfortunate too, because, we're wired for survival. So naturally, our body, our biology will be built to threat assess and to focus on the negative. So you have to do a little bit of emotional and mental gymnastics to be able to pull yourself above the chaos sometimes, and really see what reality do you want to live in. One of my favorite astrologers, I want to mention Pam Gregory. She does weekly and bi-weekly videos. She does lunation reports as well. And she mentioned that it can be so overwhelming to look at all the problems in the world and feel like they're insurmountable. But when you recognize that all of these problems are just a manifestation of the same thing, which is low vibrational energy, it makes it so much easier to tackle just by doing your breathing and your grounding and creating your world through what you affirm and what you do every single day. It's very powerful. So, what do you think about this current one for Aquarius? Because I know, I mean, you're a Leo rising, so we'll get to your sign like halfway through. But this is going to be so. The thing I also want to say is like for the Aquarius risings, this is your chart. these are the transits hitting your houses. But because this new moon is in the sign of Aquarius, we're all going to relate to this energy quite a bit over the next 30 days. So what do you think, King?
Yeah, so Aquarius, this is happening in your first house. So there's gonna be some some new beginnings and new changes, some new changes and new beginnings with the way you relate to yourself, the way you identify with yourself. I feel like you guys are gonna be removing, even though full moons are ideally a time of releasing, but I feel like this new moon um will really set the tone for you removing parts of yourself that you no longer identify with, or that you can no longer identify with because it's no longer in alignment with who you evolved to be now. And so I feel like these changes are in alignment with your evolution as a person. And yeah, we got abandonment. I just flipped out. Yeah, so I feel like yeah,
It feels
guys
like
are,
letting the inner weirdo out. That's what's flying through my head.
yeah, letting your inner weirdo out. Yeah. Yeah, like you're not deceiving yourself anymore. Got deception out here. Yeah. What else? Let me see. First house. Yeah, we also, oh, we got financial freedom.
That's funny you said that because I was looking at the North Node and Saturn in the second house right when you said that. I
Yeah.
think this cycle is going to have a lot to do with their money, their
Yeah.
self-worth, money,
Hmm.
stability.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's on point. For some,
Yeah.
at that eighth house South Node, that might be about getting out of debt, bad habits, breaking out of them, choosing a higher vibrational person,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Yeah. We got endings 999.
Ooh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's powerful.
Oh
And I'm glad you mentioned this earlier, but I think it's really important to focus on the rulers of this new moon as we go through this because these are going to be the ones shaking things up. So, we've got Uranus in the fourth house for these Aquarius people. And what else? Saturn in the second, So what do you th
yeah.
I think you pretty much nailing it already, but do you see that for these people?
Yeah, I do. And top of the deck, we got going viral.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Oh, yeah. To crown it off for them.
100%. Yeah. So, I'm gonna hit on some of these planets with the fifth house, Jupiter. It's just important that these Aquarius people believe in themselves when it goes to whatever they're manifesting, because the first house is deeply personal. Like Christian was saying, this is going to be everything about your identity and how you relate to yourself. And your life revolves around your identity. So who you choose to be, your self-concept really creates your life. So just make sure it's a powerful one. Believe in yourself. And this could be a lot about financial restrictions or being able to, build your life on more stable footing. You may want to invest in skills. For some of the Aquarius people, it really is going to be about going viral, just sharing yourself on this internet. It's so insane that, YouTube University can teach you almost any skill for free if you really just put the time in. So I see that for a lot of these people. Mars in the sixth house as well. It's going to be about hard work, and being focused in your day to day and not being so hard on yourself. I really want to say that because the Mars in the sixth to me, I'm a Cancer Mars every day of my life, by the way. But like, I feel like the Mars in the sixth is about not letting your inner critic really kill you, allowing yourself to be, I guess, self-deprecating enough to initiate change, but not so self-deprecating you defeat yourself before you start. What's that one say? Trust yourself?
Yourself when I split the deck. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And I see Chiron too. I don't mean to steal your breakdown because we're trying to go bar for bar, but like Chiron in
Yeah.
the third
No,
house
go
too,
ahead.
man. Yeah, I got Chiron in the third too, so I kind of feel like speaking on it. This is like truly finding your voice, Aquarius, and advocating for yourself because when you are that inner weirdo, man, not everybody's gonna understand it. But as long as you can embrace it, and that's the fucked up thing, man. I'm sure you can relate as an Aquarius, like in that process of becoming, when you changing who you are, it's like I'm sure everybody can feel misunderstood, but it's like, do you ever feel misunderstood by yourself?
Dude, yeah. Like I get self-conscious when I'm in a room by myself, bro.
That's
Like,
insane, dude.
Dude, like
That's too
I
real.
got like Mercury retrograde, so I know what a little bit of what this is like. And so like a lot of like I mean Mercury retrograde, I've had past lives of like being misunderstood, being silenced, like feeling like, you know, and especially I feel like this is in congruency with that Chiron third house, like feeling like your voice didn't matter or
Yeah,
like ideas were dismissed and I really want to touch on this Aquarius rising, but like your voice does matter, you know.
hmm
Part of that inner weirdo is the way that you express your ideas to the world, and
100%.
the way that you express it is just it your it helps to uplift, and nobody can do it like you, Aquarius. Like
Amen.
really remember that. Like nobody can do it like you. Nobody can do it like you. Nobody can be a weirdo like you can, you
hmm
know, and know that whatever you're trying to go into, there's room for you. There could be like a million, you know, however many people and wherever you're trying to go to, but like there's nobody can do it like you. Do you know how beautiful that is?
Sometimes you got to make your own way,
Yeah.
because if you're meant to stand out, and that's the nature of Aquarius by being a little bit different. So sometimes you don't feel like you fit in because you're meant to change the world. You're changing paradigms too.
Yeah.
And I meant to say there's something interesting that some astrologers would say that Mercury is exalted in Aquarius. And when you really think about those parallels, this sign has a lot to do with the mind itself. So, when it comes to this new moon hitting the personal life of these Aquarius people, I think mental health is going to be a big focus for these people over this month, and whatever that means. It's kind of crazy that this is, it's seen more and more nowadays, but mental health is something that is by and large neglected by people and misunderstood. We know more about the bottom of the ocean than we know about the mind, really, you know, crazy stuff. So I got some cards too. I'll show you. We got the Tower in the past, and that's the chaos of the world. We got the Six of Wands for the Aquarius and their energy, which is really about assuming the winning mentality and choosing victory, seeing yourself as a winner. If you're going to choose any identity, choose winner,
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
leader. And I
Mhm.
also see moving forward, you've got the Hangman and the Nine of Swords, which are pretty chaotic, but they're in reverse. So that's like you're not stuck and don't identify with your problems. Please don't identify with your problems. And I'm saying like the future is better than the past too. You got to believe it. There will be unexpected things at some point in life. Something you didn't plan for is going to happen. But at the end of the day, you're bigger than your problems too. And I think it was Einstein who said you can't solve a problem on the same level of thinking it was created on. So freeing the mind is really going to be an important thing. And I also feel like for those dealing with their mental health in this lunation cycle, it's going to be really important you find a way to communicate that with that third house Chiron energy, that you use your voice as a way to transform others and bring healing. And even if you don't have a platform yet, because most of y'all do have the internet, even if you have no followers on your account, I'm telling you, post your content anyway. But for some who just need to express themselves, just start talking. Just start talking. You can talk yourself through a million things, man. Don't forget that your voice matters in this life. That's really what I'm getting for these Aquarius people. Anything else for this one, or
Hmm.
because I know that's pretty deep, and I know this is again kind of for everybody because this is the sign of the lunation.
Yeah.
So we'll all relate to this on some level.
I feel like we covered all the bases. That's like there's can't think of anything else that comes to mind.
I love having you in this space, man, because I feel like it's so much more in depth having, two heads are better than one, right?
Yeah.
Last thing I want to say that speaks to me the loudest is Neptune in the second house, which says get clear about what you possess and what you don't. Neptune, like in this, especially with your channeled message about, vision without works can be, death. You could have all this inspiration, but if you are not very clear about what tools it's going to take, you're lost, you know? And you got to have a dream. You got to. But at the end of the day, it's like make sure you are not neglecting your physical resources or your physical world with that Neptune in the second house.
And also with that Neptune, the second house, like on the opposite side of that spectrum, don't be afraid to dream. Don't
Right.
get so caught in the physical that you lose touch with your vision, your spiritual side.
Right. Amen to that, dude. I've heard someone say, it might have been Jim Rohn, and if not, Jim Rohn can get extra credit because he's a great guy. But like, there's never been a shortage of money in human history. There's always been shortages of ideas, and I think there's a Native American proverb that says, it's only after all the trees are dead and the rivers are poisoned and we can't breathe the air when we realize we can't even eat money. Oof. So I guess the message for this Aquarius new moon is be free. Be free, be free, be free. Free, be free, be free, be.
And
So
to
this one's
help.
going to go a little deeper. We've got Pisces now. So Pisces, of course, has Aquarius in the 12th house, which is where the new moon is going to hit. And how meta is that? Pisces in the 11th, the 12th house for the Pisces. That's cool. So, and I really love Aquarius energy because you'll see this as we go through the whole breakdown, guys. But like Aquarius does reflect the individuated part of the self where the consciousness is oriented. So when you get to see where Aquarius falls in this chart, you'll see really where the brightest and most unique part of a person shines out. And with the Pisces rising, it's the actual 12th house, which is crazy. It just that's the beauty of astrology that I'm getting to see as I do this. Hope everybody can see what I'm saying. But essentially, this is going to be about new dreams, new visions, new ideals. And for some people with this Pisces energy, this is just going to be a generalized feeling of connectedness with source. And that's excellent. And Pluto's in that 12th house as well. So this 20 years is going to be about manifesting for these Pisces people, recognizing that what they see in their mind, they could hold in their hand. If they can picture it, they could go there, which is really cool. So I would say, needless to say, but I'll say it, psychic abilities are going to flourish over this next month for the Pisces people. But of course, when it goes to the rulership, Saturn in the first, Uranus in the third, you're going to need to touch grass, man. You're going to need a reality check as well every now and then to make sure you are not being delusional or you aren't letting your emotions and convictions bypass your reasoning. You feel me? Because, I think in the manifestation culture, it's important to be delusional, to be able to believe in something unseen. But if you're not able to assess where you are right now, fam, you can really lose yourself and get lost in the sauce. So it's important to have some grounding and some discipline for these ideals to actually meet the world halfway. And this is the unfortunate thing about Saturn in the first. Saturn doesn't really do the best in the first, but it's a necessary experience for everybody. You can kind of feel like the world is against you at times because you want to live in a certain way, but the world is a certain way as well. You got to meet the world halfway, fam. And it's kind of interesting because you'll see when the zodiac, when we go through these signs, it's not just a huge shift between sign to sign. A lot of times the adjacent signs are kind of similar. So this puts the North Node in the first house, of course. So it is going to be about identity, choosing a different version, becoming a more evolved leader. All right. And when it comes to Uranus in the third, it's going to be really heavy that these Pisces people find a way to express their message and also find enough stillness to receive their dreams and be able to hear clearly what their higher self is saying too. So that's really important as well. So I also see with Venus being in Pisces in this cycle, this is going to be an auspicious time for the Pisces rising. When it comes to manifesting your dreams, there'll be good dream. Hope, I mean, hey man, I hope the people that are listening to this through Pisces have listened to the first part of the video because there's a lot of juicy details that come to this Aquarius energy. And I think the biggest one to really note is that this is your actual consciousness that we're focusing on. So you could manifest nightmares just by being unattended, like having the wheel unattended, so to speak, falling asleep at the wheel. Don't do that. Pay attention to what you want to manifest to the point where you can feel it, where you can see it, where you can smell it, where you can hear it in your own mind. What do you think about this one, King?
Yeah, so this is interesting, Pisces, because you have it in the 12th house, like the unconscious, right? So I have some cards. I have like five of them. So in the past energy, we got transformation.
Uh-huh.
Guys, guys been working through a lot of stuff and just like going through a huge transformation with the way you relate to people. And for some of you, your psychic abilities have transformed too. And I feel like I'm getting a vision in my third eye of like you guys like coming out of like coming out refreshed, like rejuvenated. Like I feel like some of you may have had to hide away from the collective for a little bit, go into retreat and like a butterfly, coming out of your cocoon. For the present energy, we have reunion in reverse. So I feel like some of you guys are
Interesting.
coming into reunion with yourself,
I love
um,
it.
and learning this new energy for some of you. Like this is new to you guys, and learning how to um we do have shadow integration out here, so I feel like you guys are reintegrating yourselves back into the collective again after being in retreat for so long. um and um and with these new amplified psychic abilities, you guys are learning how to deal with energy vampires in a more refined manner, and learning self-care. We got self-care in the future position here. So a lot of self-care required with these amplified psychic abilities because it's going to require a lot more energy. Okay.
Good
Bottom of
call.
the Yeah, we got bottom of the deck. We got follow your heart.
Oh my goodness. That's
Hell
beautiful.
yeah.
I think
Mhm.
that really does touch on that south node in the seventh too, because you were talking about being isolated and not really relating to others, maybe
Mhm.
disconnecting from others, more connected to themselves. Like people pleasing tendencies, they have to go. This
Yeah.
Saturn in the first is checking people's giving, their empathy. In
Yeah.
my spread, I got Wheel of Fortune in reverse, which is crazy. And that's Jupiter's card. So it kind of stood out to me too that Jupiter is kind of in a challenging place for these Pisces people. So maybe for the last year or so, they might not have felt the most lucky, and it's important that they change perspective and find a better way to see the whole world at large and reframe their, picture in a way that's more positive. Because the 12th house, while this does touch on your psychic abilities, it does touch on your connection to everything, the whole collective at large, too. So if you can't relate to the universe in a positive way, your paradigms basically are going to be a little shifty. And this is interesting because, in the future card, it's the Four of Wands, which is Aries Venus energy, which is kind of like that Venus in the first house, if you really think about it. It's crazy. The cards are really carding.
Hell yeah.
And
And
it's about completion, being able to realize that you are whole within yourself and recognizing that, acting on that, pouring into your own cup. The past card was the Ace of Cups in reverse, too. So, pouring out your cup for everybody. Where are you giving your power away? Repaint the sun in your skies, essentially, is what it's looking like. I like the energy vampire thing. That was really on point. Because
yeah.
Mars is in a challenged position in Cancer, and it's going to really ask us to be oriented in our emotions and to really have clear emotional boundaries too, in addition to that Saturn in Pisces. There's a trine. That's interesting. This would be, I mean, divine time, it comes when it needs to, but this would be a good thing for everybody to notice when it comes to this lunation cycle is that there's the Mars trine Saturn. So, setting our boundaries is going to be super key in this cycle when it comes to interpersonal conflicts or just our personal life. 100%. And for the Pisces people, this is some deep shit, gang, but it's like that asserting your right to exist, Pisces, that's fifth house Mars energy, and this may play out with close people, family, friends, or just strangers in the collective, or it could even be your own hating ass self having to get out of your own way and recognize I deserve to exist. I exist, and that's fine. And nobody's going to stop me from being myself. Whew. And
Yeah.
Saturn in the first, that's the definition of being hard on yourself too,
Oh yeah. Boom, yeah.
for real.
We know what that's like with Sun Square Saturn.
Yeah, oh, 100%, dude. It's a heavy is the head that wears the crown, you know.
Um,
But do trust your intuition, Pisces. I feel like that's pretty much the full picture. We could go on and on. Is there anything
yeah.
else you want to say to that? Because
Yeah, bottom of the deck, we got emotionally unavailable and trust issues. So, right as you said, to trust I feel like some of you Pisces, you may have struggled to trust your intuition in the past, and you guys even being emotionally unavailable yourselves to the collective because you had to pour back into yourself. And even when you were emptying, pouring from your own empty cup, you guys came off as emotionally unavailable to the collective, and
oh
you guys thought you had the juice in you, but even you guys have limits. Okay, so like you had some of you might have even been afraid to assert boundaries towards yourself, and so
yeah,
yeah,
Saturn in the first is not an easy one. And when you were saying that, what came into my mind was like a dog eat dog world. And while you have to pour into you, you have to put you first. Sometimes, Saturn can be our fears. And if you're afraid of asserting yourself, you can meet this world with this standoffishness and this, defensiveness that can kind of attract the negativity that you're afraid of too, which is really crazy. And that's why I know we touched on this a second ago, but that's why it's really important that these Pisces people adjust their whole paradigms. And, speaking on the 12th house energy, Pisces, is really this month is going to be about your shadow work and you taking time to really dive into your unconscious and think about your conditions and beyond your conditions, your deeply embedded assumptions, the things that you project without even conscious awareness. And that's something to really think about. I would
yeah,
say in the best utility that you have is meditation, journaling, asking spirit, your higher self, before you meditate, reveal the secrets to me. Show me the truth. Set that intention out there. You're going to find your way. Candle meditation is something I'm really encouraging too. And if you could light two candles and put them like on the sides and look in the middle, man, and like, yeah, put your journal out there, put two candles, go write in your journal after you meditate, and you're going to see some cool things.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And touching back on that shadow work, because shadow integration did come out for you guys, Pisces. It's real as much as it's. I touched on this in a collective reading that I did last night, but um it's just as important to integrate your shadow as it is like uncovering your shadow and bringing it to light and making yourself aware of it, because if you just have your shadow all just lingering within your realm of consciousness or awareness or whatever you want to call it, it's still gonna have some sort of control over your life. And I know that Pisces, some of you guys don't have an issue. It's not a challenge for you to uncover your shadow aspects, but for some of you may struggle with the integration process. Like, how do I reintegrate this back into myself? And then some of you might struggle with the vice versa, where like you have an issue uncovering your shadow aspects, but like once you like get past that block, you actually have an easier time with the integration process. So I just wanted to point that out there for you, Pisces, regarding that shadow work.
I love that. I think the important thing to note is empathy, being able to actually feel your feelings, to put yourself in that position, and also extrapolate that into the other part of the world and recognize that, no matter how, because shadow work, it sounds negative, it can sound scary. There could be a negative connotation to it. No matter how dark or uncomfortable these parts of us that we uncover, it's important to recognize that these are universal experiences. They exist in the collective at large. And without recognizing that, we will have this tendency to struggle integrating and disowning these parts of ourselves, pushing them out and, struggling to identify with it. And it's not that you have to identify with it, but to take ownership of it is really the key. And I think when it comes back to this language that Saturn in the first, like taking responsibility, that this is part of my experience. And even if this is not something I've personally created, even if this is something that just exists in the world at large, I can take accountability for this experience. And to remember where there is dark, there has to be light. And where there's light, there has to be dark. It's not wise to assume that one hates the other. These complement each other, and they're always going to coexist. And I wish I could say that 100 times for the world because it's so important. And I know I'm still working on reintegrating that in my life. It never ends. And it also kind of sounds like when you say shadow work, that the work could be completed and there's like an end to it. There's no end to it. As long as you live in a world of duality, there's never going to be an end to the shadow work. And wrap your head around that shit. It's crazy. So I think we can leave them with their existential crisis and let's move to Aries.
Yeah.
It's like no big deal, just the weight of the world on your psyche.
Oh yeah.
Hug
All
your
right.
Pisces friends, everybody.
Love on your
Check on
Pisces.
your strong friends, is what I'm feeling called to say. Okay, so now we got Aries.
Aries. Okay, so this is in your 11th house.
How cool is that?
Yeah, 11th. I know. It's like you guys
Oh,
right in where it's supposed to be.
exactly. Yeah, it's exactly right.
Right where it's supposed to be.
Right. Just right.
That's Goldilocks. So
I'm gonna get the chapstick right quick. You take it away, King.
all right. Yeah. So this is happening, Aries, in your 11th house of friendships, social groups. Um, your your vision. I was like stuttering. Your visions and your goals, your aspiration, and stuff like that. And I feel like Aries, like this is like new beginnings with friendships. Like that's what I'm really getting for this for you guys. Like, yeah, some of you like detaching from like old friendship groups that you no longer, yeah, closure. I
It's
feel like some of you, I feel like with this Uranus energy, like some of you may have had friendship fallouts with people in your current circle, and your friendship circle is literally getting shaken up. And I feel like it's it definitely is uncomfortable, but no, Aries, I feel led to say this, but it's for the greater good. You might not see it now. What's taken out is not going to go without being replaced with something better. Yeah, friendship circles
beautiful.
going for transformation. Yeah, and yeah, I feel like with these new friends that are going to be coming into your life over the next few weeks, Aries, almost said Aries, the Aries, like it's gonna be a soul reunion. It's gonna be. I feel like some of these. Oh yeah, some of these I feel this deep. Okay, some of these people you're gonna be coming into like meeting. It's like lost parts of your soul, coming back together. It's like soul fragmentation. Because I feel like Aries, like, you know, you guys have the Aries in your first. Like it supports who you are, what you truly identify with, authenticity. It's raw. These friendships are gonna have like a raw foundation. I feel like on a soul level. Let's see
That's
what I
real
got.
Venus in the 12th.
Yeah,
Very much solar connections.
yeah, very
The
much.
12th house is heavy for these people too. I'm seeing it. It's packed.
Yeah, and these new people, these new friends are gonna have like this nostalgic quality to it. It's like past life. Um, and I feel like these old friends, they gave these people these were fucking blessing blockers. These people that you were surrounding yourself with
Oh
previous
Lord.
were blessing blockers. Oh hell no. Um,
And I feel like, I'm going to add on to that because I see it and it's worth remembering how polarity works and that this Aquarius energy is going to really pull this through their own essence and they're going to realize that they got to be the leader and not block their own blessings too.
yeah,
That they are the company they attract.
you are the company you attract. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, perfect. Yeah. And
And
we
choosing
got
to be a leader.
yeah, no drama and then breakthrough out here. So like I mean, that's pretty straightforward. Like I feel like you're entering a time where it's like no drama, and like it's like a time of peace because I feel like your own inner world was pretty chaotic and your friend circle was a reflection of that. But now there's this breakthrough that's coming in, and like people like these old friends were like deceiving you, and it's like my Mercury and Aquarius ass is gonna say it. It was a reflection of you and how you deceived yourself.
Yeah. I
Self
see it in
deceit.
the nodes too. It's the
Yeah.
South Node in Virgo, the North Node in Pisces.
Yeah, see, reflect came out. Yeah, there's a reflection. These friends were a reflection of your current state, of who you really were.
Hmm.
Like,
You know,
yeah.
the South Node, it reflects the past. The North Node is the future.
Mhm.
And I feel like a lot of times you can see some of the more negative aspects of a sign characterized by the South Node and more of the positive attributes with the North Node too. So with the South Node in Virgo, I feel like it's the chaos you were speaking about. This sign, Virgo, is about focus and service. And, this could be distractions, bad habits, being involved with the wrong people, being really busy, chaotic, feeling anxious, knowing what we want to do, but just overthinking it, worrying it, engaging with the wrong things, being in the wrong environments with the wrong people. And I
And
mean, like, it sounds so woo-woo and mystical, and I guess it should be, but this Pisces energy, or let me call it Aquarius Pisces, becoming your greatest version and manifesting your dreams. That's Aquarius, the best version, and the Pisces is the dreams.
yeah, and
Deeply
like,
personal for the Aries people.
yeah, very much so. And gosh, I just lost what I was gonna say. It wasn't meant for me to say it, but
I mean, I think we're hitting, it's like we're hitting onto it with
we're
this
hitting
Pisces in
on.
the 12th, Saturn in the 12th. You
Mm,
know, while there is going to be beautiful connections from the universe, there has to be the work revolves around sacrifice and what are you putting into the universe? Where are you planting your seeds? Are you wasting seeds and planting them in nutrient deficient soil? Are you escaping your life or are you really being present at the wheel? I think
mm.
that's the real question. And I think when it comes to Uranus in the second, it's like, what do you actually value? That has to evolve.
And yeah, I feel like, you know, and I feel like this is a message for all the signs, Aries especially. Like, it doesn't matter. You can try so hard to geographically move locations or try to physically change your environment, but if your inner world is not in check and if it's not like where it needs to be, then your external environment is gonna, no matter where you are in the world, it's gonna reflect that it's gonna be like the same energy, but through different people.
Exactly. Yeah, the phrase that comes to mind is like your success can only grow to the extent that you do, and so can your wealth. And on my side, I'm getting a lot with the second house energy, the money. This is going to be a cycle for a lot of these Aries people to make new income streams, to get more money, find more ways to get paid. And, the 11th house speaks to our freedom beyond our connections and how we get to associate with people or bring ourselves out. Can we be free? Can we experience this unrestrictedness? And it seems that money equals freedom in our day to day. So get yourself paid, Aries. And, remember karma at the same time with Saturn in the 12th that, what you put in the universe, you will have to deal with the repercussions of those actions. So, you know, while morality may not always be black or white, you have to choose what helps the most people while it harms the least. And if you can do that, 9 times out of 10, you're going to come up on, the high ground. And the universe will want to support you as well because of the purity of your intentions too. At the same time, recognize nobody owes you anything. And it's crazy because I'm pulling cards on my side, and half of them are like court cards. So really, it's like that just says that this is all about character development, like all character
Exactly.
development, dude. It's not about what you're doing and where you're doing it. It's like, who are you? You got to be the right person also
Mm.
doing this as well. And Jupiter kind of has a struggle in the third house. You know, Jupiter's in Gemini too. And I feel like there's some frustration. And you also got Mars falling in the fourth house. So it's like, oh Lord, I know we were talking about this in 2024, but a lot of these planets, like, 2025 is going to be a lot better once all these debilitated planets move. But I know a lot of these Aries rising people are probably very frustrated because it's like they don't feel heard. They're feeling frustrated with their emotions and feeling isolated with the universe and, just like, oh my goodness, Chiron in their first house as well. Who am I? Identity crisis, feeling misunderstood. So, I mean, I guess among all these other messages, these Aries rising people need to choose to be positive,
Mhm.
whatever that means. And I really want to elaborate, don't complain in this life because complaining attracts negativity in your life. You can be a living, breathing crap magnet. It's okay to have problems, we all do, but focus on what you want to attract into your life. All problems come with solutions. You can even circumvent the strife by giving gratitude for the lesson you learn in the problem and genuinely being grateful. And to do that, you actually have to have a growth orientation in life. And I think that also speaks to Mars in their fourth house. Like, if you're internally motivated as opposed to externally, if you just want to get better because you want to get better, you'll go a long way in this world, way further than people that have never decided to do that. So, man, Aries energy. Yeah, you spazzed on this one, bro. I had to add my 2 cents on it. Are they cooked?
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
cooked. Okay, yeah, let's go to Taurus then.
They're fully.
Because
Mhm.
it's interesting again with them having Aquarius in the right spot. I feel
Mhm.
like a lot of the last two signs have kind of prefaced them too. So I know
Mhm.
Aries, they kind of rush ahead. So Aries, if you did skip to your sign, it may be worth you actually watching the beginning of the video to get a more holistic understanding, or at least watch the Aquarius, the first house, because with you having it in the 11th and its natural sign, if you watch the one that Aquarius is ruling over, it should make even more sense to how this energy is going to affect you, okay? So let's get to Taurus. I'm going to line it up like by degree on the zero. So this one, of course, is going to put the new moon in the 10th house. Let me put, and also I want to show you guys with the lunation cards, there's, the new moon in Aquarius, which says bring love into this situation. There's our water bearer that encourage us to do right with our Aquarius, like we talked about. But this, our next lunation, the full moon in Leo, don't let pride get in your way. So that's going to be important to understand as we go through this breakdown. Is that the next lunation is the full moon in Leo. So you can't be so full of yourself to the point where you forget about the whole world. Because simply put, with the Aquarius energy, it's not about you. And that's hard for me to say as a Leo. It's about us. It's about us. All right.
Mhm.
So let's get into it. This new moon is going to hit the 10th house for the Taurus people, and that's going to talk about new goals, new business, new career, new endeavors, new callings. That's going to be awesome. And, you may choose to identify yourself differently in the realm of career, and choose a new position of authority. For some of these people, they are going to start a new business. For some of them are going to get promoted. For them, for a lot of us with the Taurus energy, it's just going to look like a whole new mountain to climb and a new target. And what I'm also getting through this crown energy, it feels like a lot of these people are going to really receive this calling. It's going to look like things externally in the world need to be attacked or taken care of, depending on our current events. That's going to create the new calling, essentially. So where the planets really fall, and I encourage everybody when it comes to the new moon cycles to set your monthly goals according to the moon. And, think about where you want to be a month from now when we come to the new moon in Pisces and, create at least 5 goals. You can do as many as you want. They're your goals. But we've got Uranus in the first house. We got Saturn in the 11th house, which is actually really cool. So it's always more freedom. It's never less freedom being the solution. And really, for want of not sounding repetitive, become a greater version of yourself, Taurus. This is about you in respect to Uranus in the first, stripping out your personal life of everything that holds you back, whether that's people, places, things, identities, associations, habits. Let it all go if it doesn't stick. If it's not supporting your sovereignty, it's holding you back essentially. And with Uranus, or I should say Saturn in the first, I'm bugging twice, 30 times the charm. But Saturn in the 11th house. This is going to be about you associating with the right people. Teamwork makes the dream work. You not being so averse to working with people, not being afraid of people, not being afraid of the world, putting yourself out there. Social media is going to be a really important thing for the Taurus people in this month, whether it is your business or your career or even social change that you want to use. The social media is going to be so key for these people. Uranus, Aquarius energy, it also reflects technology and the internet. So that's really a crazy thing that we could say for everybody across this, but especially when it comes to the Taurus people executing on their goals, using this freaking internet to make your dreams come true. Venus is in this 11th house. That's going to help you get more support from the world. Your networks are going to go a lot smoother. So, man, I say that, this will play out in many ways for everybody, but, and it's crazy the North Node is in the 11th house as well. So, for some of you Taurus people, it's about you truly being the leader. You may have to build a new organization for people to gravitate to. For some of you Taurus people, you have to join the right one. For some of you Taurus, it's going to be both. Teamwork makes the dream work. The problem is this South Node in the fifth house being too self-oriented, too selfish, basically. That's the thing about Taurus is like, and I'm a Saturn Taurus, deep, and you are too. Deep in the core, Saturn Taurus, like we can be easily too stubborn, closed off, and cut off from other people. So it's about opening ourselves up to the world and letting others collaborate with us and sharing our gifts with the world too. And I think with Mars, I'm trying to touch on all these planets, but Mars in the third house is going to be really important that, we work on our delivery. It's not just what we say and how we convey our things, but how we say things. That's going to help our message be received by the world. Because message sent and message received are two different things. I'm going to do some divination on this. What are you thinking about? What do you see here?
Yeah, so so Taurus is, 10th house. It's like, how the, the public, recognition in the past energy, we have conflict out here. So there's might have conflict with accomplishing your goals or even creating some goals, right? Um, the present energy, have faith, right? I feel like some of you are mustering up the faith, Taurus, to like have faith towards your goals that know that you can achieve them. And I'm feeling led to say, Taurus, that some of you deserve to be seen. Some of you deserve to be in the spotlight. Okay. Like Spirit is chiming in right now and telling me to tell you guys to stop fucking hiding.
That's very 10th house energy. Let
Yeah.
yourself be shown.
Hell yeah.
The sun, the moon, Mercury, and Pluto.
Mhm.
It's about conquering the world for some, actually creating a position of influence. And this is some crazy shit that echoed through my heart as you were talking is that Pluto in the 10th, Saturn in the 11th, there's something deeply karmic about this lunation for the Taurus people. And karmic basically means the past, coming up to revisit. And, while the new moon is a cycle of planting new seeds, this cycle for the Taurus people is going to be a lot about the seeds the fruit you've been growing, and getting right with your karma, making sure that you're choosing greatness in this world. For some, it's going to be about paying the dues, righting your wrongs, apologizing to people who hurt you, or recorrecting things, mistakes that you've made, essentially, and not beating yourself up and just choosing to be different, choosing to be better, moving forward through this and having compassion for yourself when you do make a mistake. And, like this is crazy because everybody will have Pluto transit the 10th every day at least. Not everybody will have it transit and sign through our 10th house, but, you know, this could look like the power leading you to the goals or power blocking you from it,
Mhm.
And again, with the Saturn the 11th, it's really important to question your paradigms, Taurus. Like, what do you believe about the world? Do you believe the world is out to get you? Because you can manifest that if you do believe it. And that's not an empowering belief to have. I mean, unless you love strife and fighting fires all the time, that could be your favorite thing. But I choose to believe that the world wants to support me. That feels like a more powerful belief system. But take it with salt because that's my personal, nuance to it.
And the for the future card, I got delays. So with that whole 10th house stellium Taurus, there's gonna be some delays with your goals and enjoy the journey. Yeah, I just got a notification sound as soon as I said that. Yeah, enjoy the journey. Don't go too fast, Taurus, feeling like you have to, you know, it's not the end of the world if your goals, don't get accomplished by, this certain time frame or whatever, having to tie yourself down to a deadline. In fact,
Exactly.
that's going to keep you in a paralysis state where you won't even take action. So
Right.
trust in the delays that just because it's delayed doesn't mean it's not coming.
Exactly. And like life is not always about getting your way. And we grow through friction too. So it can actually be amazing to have obstacles, and to have problems to solve. I mean, and again, there will be problems along the path, but if you have that winning attitude, if you choose to learn, you'll always come out on top, which is very beautiful. Let's
And
get to
all,
Gemini too. There's Taurus people. It's like it's given put up or shut up, basically.
yeah,
Is like if you want it as bad as you say you want it, you won't stop when it comes to these obstacles, which are inevitably going to hit your path. So Gemini, this is going to put, you want to take it away?
yeah. So this is gonna put your it's gonna put in your ninth house of travel, um, philosophy, religion, um, all those sorts of things, spirituality. So Gemini, I really feel like you guys are like in belief systems too. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah. So I feel like Gemini, you guys are adopting new belief systems and really focusing on your personal spiritual journey or whatever that may be. Some of you, we got career out here, so some of you might embark on a spiritual career, well, having to do with spirituality, or something of the sort. Um, what else?
That's beautiful.
Yes, yeah, new new beginning popped out. Yeah, some of you might be starting a new job, a new career. It might be some of you, it could be a spiritual based business specifically for a specific Gemini that I might be speaking to. Yeah. Um, Yeah, wow. Yeah, divinely protected for Geminis. I don't think you understand. I think you guys understand on a surface level how divinely protected you are, but I feel like you're going to be shown on a deeper level of how divinely protected you are. Like, I feel like some of you need to strengthen your belief in, you know, strengthen your belief because I feel like some of you, I'm feeling like it's like I don't believe any of this stuff. Like it's like strengthening your faith, you know. Um have have faith in general. Oh, you know. Um
See it.
yeah, we got father wounds out here. I mean, Gemini, you guys have Mercury as your chart ruler. So I feel like this could be over communication issues. I feel like uh,
Well,
sorry.
Mercury's conjunct to Pluto during this cycle too.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, you guys are gonna be working through some father wounds. Um,
Saturn in the 10th too.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you guys are being called to rest. Because I feel like Spirit's like you guys are working too hard. Yeah,
You know what I think is interesting is that every time we have a new moon, that's going to be, I mean, the moon we need the most. If you really think about it, the cycle has a pattern. And because we're having the new moon in Aquarius, essentially it's been the longest since we've had the new moon in Aquarius. It's been almost a year, like give or take, basically a whole year. So this is new energy we're all needing desperately. And to think about all the ninth house significations, this is bringing this energy in. And the ninth house deals with faith. It deals with, our expansiveness, the journey itself. So, I feel like there's this for some of the Geminis, it kind of has a weary energy to it. And this will kind of reignite that flame. I mean, it's a firehouse too, actually. Reignite that flame and be able to bring some more positivity, some more excitement to the journey of life. And, it's kind of about getting the spark back on some level. That Holy Spirit, even for some of these people, whatever they choose to see that as.
Yeah, and you're Geminis, you're not a failure.
Mhm.
Like you're not a failure. Um, just because you rest does not make you a failure.
Amen to that. I think
Yeah.
Saturn in the 10th, it's like there's a lot of pressure though. They
Yeah.
feel to conquer the world or to make something to find recognition. And I feel like not getting the recognition, being unseen, that can be, I
Yeah.
mean, that kind of ties into the father wound as well, but that's kind of I think the precipice of this energy is, needing to be seen from these people. I feel like if these people can adopt the growth mindset, as long as they're willing to learn and improve themselves, life should be pretty interesting. Jupiter is in the first house too, the secret being believing in yourself, Gemini. As long as you're willing to learn, you should be able to basically be able to take something from each and every day, and that should be able to, help you meet life with some form of excitement, plus be able to catalog the growth and kind of see your trajectory, the upward spiral. And sometimes that spiral can be really lateral. You might not feel like you're moving up very fast, but as long as you decide growth, you're going to be going up, no matter how slow. Certainly you'll go up. I also want to say again, because with this Venus in the 10th, Neptune in the 10th, it's like this is a prime time for you to show yourself to the world, let your colors show, and you're likely to get a lot of approval, to really be well liked by the people because of your, mannerisms, what you wish to express. If you do it with love, man, the world will shower you with praise, is really what it looks like. For some of these people, I think it is going to be like you said, the ninth house. They might have to travel, they might have to get out of their environment, they may have to go somewhere else, or maybe reinvent themselves. Just post on the internet, and they may find people from all types of places in the world showering them with love.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's crazy. You said father wounds. I'm seeing two of the kings in reverse on my side. I'm
Oh,
seeing that I'm all my cards in reverse besides the ace of swords,
damn.
which is about just, mentalism. It's about not what you're seeing, how you're seeing it being the real determining factor.
Mhm.
You knowing that you can do anything you put your mind to, Gemini, being positive and trusting the higher plane of the universe. I really feel like that's very Uranus in the 12th, knowing that there is a greater all that you're a part of and you do add value to it. So trust that. And really, I also kind of feel like Uranus is calling some of these Gemini people to be by themselves, you know, to listen to that higher intuition. And it may lead you to the right people, but sometimes you have to disconnect to reconnect to yourself. Are they cooked? What do you
Holy,
think? Yeah.
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Because, like, don't you have a Mercury Pluto aspect? Or am I
I
talking?
do. I do.
Yeah.
I have Mercury sextile Pluto.
I got Mercury square Pluto. So it's like, I kind of feel like I'll always want to go deeper. And sometimes
Yeah, me
there's
too.
nothing
Yeah.
else to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited to do this one. I was really excited for this one, Cancer rising, because of course they have Pluto transiting their eighth house for the next 20 years, and this new moon in Aquarius is going to hit their eighth house. And the moon, it has a harder time in the eighth house, and this doesn't have to be bad. I'm going to try to get the most holistic picture, but truly, for the Cancer rising, this month is going to be about power. It's going to be about of evolution, choosing a greater version of themselves. And what that genuinely means is looking at anything that limits and binds and eliminating it. Truly, bad habits, addictions, escape, debt, isolation, fear, weakness. It has to be confronted. Insecurities. Cancer people, they're the most soft, the most sensitive, the most intuitive among maybe the other water signs, but this is really going to ask people with Cancer energy to choose power, choose growth, and not be goddamn scared. All right. And understand which investments you make. And, with the ruler of the moon, let me draw the circle a little smaller. The ruler of the moon, the ninth house Saturn, 11th house Uranus. This is beautiful energy, and it's going to be about the work. Saturn, the work is about education, ninth house, you getting the right knowledge, the right skills, the right resources, having the right mentors and right guides. And if I could just break it down succinct, because I'm a Sun Saturn person, just like you, Christian. So I'm very much a taskmaster, very no nonsense. Cancer, if you take one thing from this reading, I need you to find 5 people that inspire you the most over this next month and learn from them. And really take the time, like maybe over the course of a week or even the month, who are the 5 people that inspire me the most? And this will help you understand your vision and then recognize that a lot of people are not fit to give you advice. And only take advice from people that you want to be like. We all have different values. And I think that kind of speaks to Uranus in the 11th. Everybody's different. You should not try to be like everybody else. Be like your damn self. And when you're in your own energy, your own authentic core, you can realize how to be more of yourself, how your unique talents can express themselves, and how your individuality can be a contribution to the world. All right. And don't be afraid to rule the world. I see Chiron in the 10th. Don't be like, delete I can't from your vocab. Forget this feeling of ineptitude. Every day that you exist, you have the ability to make change. If you can hear my message, you can change the world, truly. And I see Cancer Mars in the first. There's going to be an expanded sense of confidence for you guys. If you really just feel your feelings and listen to your heart, if you actually care for yourself, nurture yourself, you're going to be full of energy. And you should be seeing the higher picture with Jupiter in the 12th house. And if you're not, you need to disconnect from this world a little bit and sit down and just be still and turn off the TV and turn off your phone and meditate. And for some, I really want to say this eighth house reflects magic. So if you don't know how to work with energy, if you don't know how to move energy around and cleanse your space and cleanse your body or run energy up into the sky or down to the earth, you can get stagnant. You can get so cooked because you've got all this noise, static pollution in your aura, and it can fuck up your vision. All right. So clarity brings power, Cancer. And that's really the message of the moon is that you need power more than anything. Strong people will do great things with power. Weak people will do cruel things with power. So which one do you want to be? It all comes down to your intentions, your reason for being. I want y'all to get crystal clear about your dreams and what do you want to do and check the nature of your soul. And I hate to say it, fam, but it's just as direct as I have to be. Some of you guys are not fit to lead. You may really have positive thoughts, but it's like at the end of your day, your hidden motives might be to step on other people's toes so you can become the positive one. And that's not fair. What contribution do you want to make to the world? What are your hidden motives? This is deep energy, eighth house energy, getting right with yourself. And it's like the eighth house is a water house. And this is going to really bring a lot of shadow work to the front, and a lot of past issues have to be connected with and addressed. And, you'll have to forgive yourself and a lot of other people before you can really hold love and compassion for the whole world. I'm seeing, and it's like, and it's hard because a lot of us are going through a lot of bullshit. So you got to forgive for you, not forgive because I'm telling you to do it. You have to feel your feelings because if you feel obligated to forgive, you might not even really have internalized the message of your anger, and you might try to push it aside and then suppress it, and that creates more anger in the long run because you're violating your own boundary too. So it's like I just say if I could simplify what I'm saying, because I got Mercury Pluto, I can word vomit on people. Like really take your time to feel your feelings, Cancer, and empathize with yourself and grow up ever so at your own pace, Encourage yourself maturity, encourage yourself to be a person of integrity and a leader, and be very like Scorpio in the way that you would sting or be stung. Choose the right people. On a more light note, I will say this eighth house energy, it does talk about new bonds and new connections with people. So, this might be deep, intimate relationships to be looking forward to in this next month. And, just be aware of your investments that you make and never risk something you're not willing to lose. And I think it's also worth noting that when you love something, you never risk it. All right. I'm gonna pull some cards. That's Pluto's house, man. That's why I was excited to read for this one, but we'll see what the cards are talking about. I heard like a bird, like an eagle, like a phoenix. It's evolution, the only solution. That's not always painless or easy, go. So you just gotta be kind with yourself and like if you value strength, this should not be a problem, this energy, whatever comes through. And like I'm grateful to give these readings. I know it's a lot of fun. I'm sure you can attest to that too, Christian. But at the end of the day, it's like this one is so fucking deep with Cancer energy being ruled by the moon being in the eighth house. You really got to listen to your soul, Cancer, at the end of the day. Like that's where the direction goes because the Saturn, the Venus, the Neptune, the node, it's all in the ninth house, which is really about your spiritual journey as well, on top of Pluto being in the eighth. And don't be afraid of power because it's like it stands to reason. If you're a great person, which you probably are, if you can stand both of our energies and watch this video, you have an interest in astrology, higher consciousness, it stands to reason you probably have, you know, integrity in you already, or at least an awareness of the greater all. So if you add more power to you, you probably do amazing things with it. So step into your power, Cancer. That's really what I'm getting more than anything. Step into your power. Don't be scared. Like I'm getting King of Wands in reverse, Four of Pentacles in reverse. I got the wealth card too. So yeah, that's the only one upright in your whole spread. Well, you also had, we're not going to talk about the past. The past is kind of bullshit. We don't live there, but like wealth, power, learn to invest. That's what I'm seeing. The stock market for a lot of these people, learning cryptocurrency and diversifying their assets. And, for some business, real estate, different like businesses you could start. Whatever your heart calls you to do, Cancer, that's really what it is. But it's definitely not like blatant hedonism and dystopian indulgence. Like you really are going to have some restraint as well. I think the worst part about this energy is like Saturn the 11th, the Uranus in the, or I'm sorry, Saturn the ninth, Uranus in the 11th. There may be some existential crises. There may be unanswered questions, but that's also where we add meaning to life, how we can wander and ponder on the mysteries. So, I don't know if you want to add to it. I think they're cooked, bro. I know I really I put the black flame to that one.
Oh, yeah, you did. Yeah. So, all right, Cancer. So, in the past energy, you have reflect, and in the present energy, we got wisdom, but it came out reversed. So, I feel like some of you feel blocked from your wisdom and like denying that part of yourself. Like for I feel Cancer, I feel like for some of you guys, like the some of you feel like you're too young or feel like with this existential crisis you feel like, oh, I feel like I came at the wrong time, like I don't feel fit kind of thing, like this, like all this kind of shit. But like, Cancer, I need you to like fucking trust your wisdom. And I've experienced this myself as an Aquarius where it's like the life experiences don't necessarily match up with the depth of wisdom that resides in your soul, and that can kind of create this existential dissonance between your inner world and your outer world with like your soul. And it kind of just feels like, Cancer, you feel like you're waiting for time to catch up to you, and it's like you're kind of meant to create, kind of make your way, and Yeah, we got delays as the future card here too. So you guys, another sign got delays as well as their future card. I forgot what sign it was.
That was Taurus.
Taurus, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's interesting because Taurus and Cancer they sextile each other. So that was an interesting parallel
It
that
feels
they
like
did.
Chiron in their 10th.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and we also got infidelity out here too. So it's like some of you are not being fucking faithful to your own wisdom. You're not listening to yourself. You're not listening to your own fucking advice. So,
And that can play out in the eighth house too, where it's like, I'm glad that came up because the eighth house is who you're bonded with too. So for a lot of these people, the freedom is around these bonds. They might be with a cheating ass person, or they might have a roommate that, just smokes and drinks and brings weird people to the house all the fucking time. And it's like they just gotta separate themselves from this weird ass energy, this disloyalty, this it could be deeply personal, not being um real to yourself, but it could be people around you just not being on the same type of timing, same type of intention, you know? I see that playing out as well.
yeah,
And also one thing about Pluto in the eighth that I'm remembering because you brought up the feeling like you're older than your body, and the Pluto in the eighth, it really reveals the parts of the world that need to be regenerated. So these Cancer people, they could have a keen perception of like you got to pay it. I've been saying this for like many videos since Pluto moved into Aquarius, but pay attention to these Cancer rising people because they're seeing the world a little bit more advanced right now. And they're going to be more keen and perceptive of the things that need to be removed. So that's really cool, man. And they're always going to be intuitive people. So it's going to be important that, they step up and really be leaders, especially when Saturn moves into their 10th house of Aries. It's going to be time for a lot of these people to assume positions of power in the world. World leaders, really, if you really think about it. Aries going first, Saturn being the world, you
yeah.
know. Ooh, powerful stuff. And I think one last thing to say about Cancer people, because then we're going to go to your sign.
Like,
Um, make sure your reasoning is strong, Cancer rising. Like, let your reasoning be stronger than your emotional convictions. Reasoning is almost the only true thing that we can have. Okay? Reasoning. So, and another thing, Mars in the first house for Cancer, I do want to kind of touch on it's like, don't be afraid to tell someone fuck your feelings. Like, Cancer is notorious for being the most nurturing and loving and sensitive and always helping other people. But at the end of the day, man, it's like if your feelings hold you back from power, you have to be able to circumvent that. And you can love people. Like, let me put it this way. Unconditional love doesn't mean unconditional relationships. Sometimes you got to tell someone, man, fuck your feelings, or I don't care. Just stop caring about everything in the motherfucking world. Because the question is, does the whole world care about you? The answer is no. So don't feel like you're obligated. Like, and I'm sorry to keep on harping. I should grab the damn harp, but like ninth house Saturn, don't feel like don't believe that you're obligated to love this entire world all the time. That's too much expectation. That's too much pressure. So do your own thing, man. Like pretend like you were Aries for a minute, Mars in the first. Like just do your own thing. So that's my TED Talk. Thank you for coming, Cancer. That's what I got. So look what we got now. What is this? Oh
oh,
my
what is
God.
that? Oh, that looks familiar.
That's fun.
Leo rising.
Where have I seen this before?
Oh,
Wow, it's me.
it's me.
Heck
Leo
yeah.
rising. Oh my goodness.
I love it.
It's in your seventh house. It's in your seventh house of business partnerships, uh, one-on-one connections. Some of you are going to have a new romantic beginning. You guys have Saturn in your eighth currently, so that's bringing lessons in intimacy, some karmic connections coming up too, some intimacy there as well. Might be revisiting some past debts as well. Um, with that Saturn eighth house. What else? Uranus in the 10th. Um, I know this all too well because I'm experiencing this right now. But your public life, your reputation, going through some radical changes, and like you guys are like embracing the spotlight more. Some of you might be called to start a new business, with that seventh house, a new business partnership.
Saturn in the eighth too, and Uranus in the 10th. They all
Yeah,
falls together.
yeah, oh yeah,
New business, Uranus in the 10th, and then Saturn in the eighth would be like a career based on your passion, you
yeah.
know?
And that eighth house for us Leo risings could be related to the occult, things of the occult, stuff like that. Very on brand. Um,
Oh yeah, so
yeah.
eighth house is loaded for these people.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. But I'm gonna pull some cards for us Leos, okay? Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, we got Don't Give Up as the pass card. I feel like so oh gosh, that's Saturn in the eighth house. Some of y'all wanted to crash out so many
It's
times.
hard, it's soul crushing sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, because you have Saturn in your eighth house in your natal chart.
I
So you
do. It's not, it's like the better it gets, the better it gets, but sometimes it's too much, I will say.
yeah. It's I feel like in the past it's been I feel like some of you wanted to give up on your dreams, Leo. Like that Saturn eighth house, like you just wanted to give you just some of you wanted to let your fucking dreams die.
Mhm.
Like, um, that's for like really the vibe I'm getting with that. Like, um,
For their
some
self, like not to be too cold, but like just to call the elephant out in the room. Some people just don't
yeah,
want to be here
some of
anymore,
you wanted
you know.
some of you yeah, some of you
Because you
wanted
see Pluto and Mercury conjunct right opposing
yeah,
the ascendant, it's like that's that mental health crisis for some,
yeah,
you know. The weight of the whole world, the weight of your own mind bending in on itself.
yeah. And some of you feel like you don't belong, like
Yeah, Uranus is in a hard place in this chart. 10th house of Taurus. That's difficult.
yeah, it's difficult. Yeah. Oh wow, look at the
Mars in the 12th also kind of feels like internalizing our anger for in our frustrations.
Oh yeah, I've been feeling that a lot myself. Yep.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
intense, man. And it'll, I mean, shit, it'll be there for a minute, but it won't stay there forever, you know.
Right.
In
Yeah.
February, we should go direct.
hmm Yeah, we got yeah, dreams are coming true out here too. Yeah, yeah, Leo. Some of you want to just crash out. And I feel like Leo, like I feel like you guys need to like find something to live for, you know? Like I feel like from one Leo to another, like
Mhm.
for me, like you know, as someone who personally has achieved their dream, like their biggest dream on the bucket list two times over, which I was, low key unexpected. I didn't think I would get on, Wheel of Fortune twice or whatever, but like afterwards it kind of like just led to this existential crisis and it kind of just felt like I didn't have another dream to live for, and I was kind of just I feel like Leo, you guys were some of you may be I might, some of you Leos may have been high achieving at such a young age, from such a young age, from the get-go. You've accomplished a lot of things, but I feel like there's still this, like, there is this void of unfulfillment that you felt, even with the the quantity of what you've accomplished in this life. And some of you Leos are so, are so young, like you have so much ahead of you. And I feel like if I were to say anything to you, Leos, now, it would just to be to find a new, find something to live for, a new dream to live for, because you can't overly rely on things you've already done. Don't be afraid to venture out to doing other things that you like, and it's like your dreams that you've already accomplished, it's not the end all be all. Don't fucking rest on your morals and giving yourself this false sense of fulfillment because, that's it. No, it's like there's more to your life than you realize,
Never
than what
done.
you can see, you know.
Amen to that. Like if you're living, if you're breathing, you're not done. Plus, with the sun in the seventh, this is actually not the easiest place for the sun to be. And while this will highlight our relationships and our connections, it does help us. I would say help, but at the same time, it kind of makes us derive our sense of joy from that part of life as well in this current time. So, and that's the fall of the sun,
Yeah.
to be internally validated by others is a paradox. But at the same time, this is where we aspire for greatness when it comes to our pursuits and our relationships. And you just have to make sure that you love yourself enough. And I think that's a big conversation with the sun in the seventh is that it's about loving yourself
Yeah.
and pouring into you, admiring yourself the way you want to be admired, not waiting for other people to see you, and knowing who you are, acting who you are, and then, accepting the love that comes your way, but recognize that if praise can get to your head, failure and, criticism can also get to your heart at the same time. So finding some centeredness within yourself, I think is super key for this cycle. And I think when it comes to the North Node in the eighth house, the challenge is getting out of your shell. The challenge is moving into connection with other people, finding depth, intimacy, and it's not quantity, it's quality, because not everybody's going to see your vision nor respect it. So as long as you know what you're doing, you're on stable ground, and then you'll be able to find your tribe because of your vibe. The network is going to be pretty important too. Jupiter in the 11th. And I kind of this is one thing I feel called to speak on. With Jupiter in the 11th, you can spread yourself way too thin trying to be everything for everybody. And that's not going to help anybody. So it kind of goes back to this Aquarius energy. Recognize what makes you unique. Make sure you stand out by being yourself, not somebody else. Who are you trying to impress? At the end of the day, you got to create the person you admire and then give that to the world. Not who you think they're going to admire. Who do you admire? There's a slight nuance, but it's a very big difference, you know?
Yeah. When I split the deck, we got father out here too. So it's funny, because
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Big daddy energy, like
yeah,
being the man. It's kind of what it
yeah,
feels like.
yeah.
I heard someone say about being a man, if you can manage a part of your life, that makes you a man. And
Mm.
there's nuance to that as well, because I know women will watch this, non-binary people will watch this, but in the traditional sense of the word, if you can manage a part of your life, you're the man, you know? Could be a whole woman and still be the man.
Yeah.
And
Are they cooked?
they could be
Or,
cooked, but I also just want to say, like, there's so much in the eighth house. There needs to be acknowledgement of what your soul really wants. Like, if there's a hunger, there must be food. So
yeah,
go after what you really want. What's that say?
authenticity.
Yeah, be real to yourself, Leo. Like, man, if you can get something and it doesn't advertently harm other people, it's likely the universe wants you to have that too. So go after it. Go after it. Don't be
Oh,
scared, Leo.
yeah. Because some of you guys are working towards financial stability, and especially with that Uranus in the 10th house. And look how far you've come. I feel like Leos, you don't reflect enough on how far you've come. I feel like some of you are just rumin. Some of you Leos overthink under the guise of reflection, and it's like, no, you've been overthinking this whole time. So, like, I feel like some of you Leos over identify with your flaws when you reflect instead of like looking back at how far you've come, because you've come a long way, Leo. Seriously, some of you have come a long way, and you have the trials and tribulations that you faced in your life up until this point have were meant to show you your inner strength and the depth in which you are strong. You guys have you have the strength card ruling over your first house as like the major arcana. And you guys have the star as um the star ruling over your seventh house. So it's like know that you are loved by other people as much as you love yourself, you know. Allow yourself to be loved as much as you love yourself.
Mhm. I love that. Yeah. And if you don't love yourself, you're not going to allow others to love you on that level as well. Like you'll really only accept the amount of love from others that you're willing to give yourself to. It's very powerful. And I think it's also worth noting that this full moon that's coming up is going to hit the first house for the Leo rising people too. So this is going to be a big month of self-reflection for real, and changing how you identify and truly like there will be new connections, new people coming into your life. And that's going to be the result of you seeing yourself kind of differently as well. Cooked is what I think it is.
Oh yeah, me too.
All right. Yeah, I got to take them off the grill before they burn. All right. Let's go to Virgo. Oh, it's my turn. Wow.
Your turn. Wow.
I'm ready for this.
My progressed Virgo rising.
Oh, so you're gonna feel this too. I felt
Yeah.
I'm a Leo sun, so I felt the last one also.
Yeah.
So this, of course, is gonna put the new moon in the sixth house for the Virgo rising people. So that's beautiful. So this cycle is really gonna be all about new schedules, new routines, new focus for our life. And health is gonna be the big focus more than anything. Is that, if it doesn't support your life, it supports your death for real. And it's that serious. And I'm telling you, Pluto is in the sixth. It's that serious. I'll say it twice. If it doesn't support your health, it supports your death. So be direct about what you choose every day. And beyond what you're choosing, it's how you're seeing the world that you're living in. That's really going to make a world of a difference. And, the rulers of this moon, let's talk about it. You've got Saturn in the seventh, you've got Uranus in the ninth. So Uranus in the ninth is asking you to embrace some chaos and to be growth oriented, let yourself evolve and grow. And the seventh house Saturn is saying be highly ethical, be responsible, no projections. Take responsibility of everything in your life, even when it comes to the connections that you have or don't have in your life. If you have the wrong people around you, that's your fault. You let them in. If you don't have the right people in there, it's your fault. You got to go out and find them. All right. So this cycle with the North Node, Venus, Neptune, Saturn in the seventh, there's going to be new connections. And I see the South Node in the first house for Virgo. So it's like these 18 months literally are going to be about reinventing the self for Virgo, truly, which I really love, becoming your greatest version. And I'm saying a lot. So forget the words, Virgo. Think about this. Take some time and close your eyes and truly picture yourself in peak physical condition, the strongest you've ever been, the healthiest you've ever been, the most vibrant you've ever been, and the most peaceful you've ever been. At peace with yourself, at peace with the world. Plus, the sixth house deals with service. So, beyond being the right person, I want you to imagine your true calling, your true vocation, where your daily life is about contribution to the world. That's what this energy is about. And I could leave it at that. I live this energy. I am an astrologer. So I've been looking at this for a minute, but I would just say, keep in mind Jupiter's in the 10th, believe in yourself. This is about you expanding your business, expanding your career, answering the calling. You may literally need spirit to direct the calling, or if you don't know where the hell you're going, you'll have to meditate on it and let your higher self tell you what to do. The call comes from inside the house because success and fulfillment are not the same thing. They're actually different. You could be successful and unfulfilled, and that would still make you a failure. All right. So, the great life, and this is some real Taurus energy: health, wealth, love, happiness. Are you healthy, first of all? And that's what we started this breakdown with is the day-to-day routine and schedule. Are you smoking, drinking, fucking off your time? Or are you, and you got to think about your vocation or your ministry. I would say if I could throw any identity your way, the word is leader because this is Aquarius energy. So before you eat anything or smoke anything or do anything on your phone, you have to ask, how does this support my work as a leader? And if it doesn't, you don't do it. And there needs to be some self-restraint. You have to be able to negotiate with yourself and also say no to yourself, which is very Saturn in the seventh. And then when it comes to wealth, get your money right. Pay yourself first, invest your money, all right, and live below your means. Some of us spend money we don't have on shit we don't need and we wonder why we're broke. People overinvest in their detriment and want to negotiate their betterment, and that's fucked up. Don't be one of these fucking weirdos, Virgo. Seriously. I don't know who needs to hear this shit, man, but don't be one of these fucking idiots. All right. And then when it comes to love, just know love is the meaning of life. And if you're madly in love with the world, nobody could stop you. When there's no enemies within, there's no enemies without. If you love yourself deeply down to the, like, this is very Virgo energy, very sixth house energy. If you love even your deep flaws and imperfections and ineptitudes and quirks, if you're fully in love with yourself in this world, nothing can stop you. And happiness is the measure of, am I doing what I want to do?
Mm.
And if you can get all the four things right, health, wealth, love, happiness, I promise you're going to be a great person living a great life, and your energy itself will be a great contribution to the world. And I think that's worth acknowledging for some of these Virgo people, because the sixth house is the work, and they might not know where to put the pressure because the world changes every single day. The times are more chaotic than they've ever fucking been. But you can recognize that with everything being energy, just thinking a nice thought can be uplifting for the collective too. Just seeing the world at peace, just beyond visualizing yourself in peak performance, visualize the world at peace and recognize the beauty there. And I want to say another thing because I think I've like, it is my sign. So I ponder this every day of my life, every moment, but I'm seeing temperance in reverse in the middle, which is kind of like Uranus in that ninth house. It's a Sagittarius's card. Ninth house Uranus kind of feels like the higher wisdom coming from within, and of course you need to have the right mentors. Success will leave clues, associate with successful people, but at the end of the day, man, you're a one of zero. Nobody's meant to be like you. Yes, we can influence others, but it's like you're unique. So respect that. And I honestly feel like, oh, I don't know who needs to hear. I know I needed to hear this on my path. So I know someone in Virgo energy needs to know that you got to stop trying to bitch at people and stop trying to force others to be a certain way. You got to give others the freedom that you want in your life, because your answers work for you. And that doesn't mean they work for everybody. And, that's about being non-dogmatic. You know what works for you. And just because it works for you doesn't mean it works for everybody else. And what you think the world needs is usually what you need to make your life better, not the whole world. Right? Because it's like this Saturn in the seventh. I know, I mean, like, I gotta use more words because I see this through my eyes, but I gotta paint the picture. It's like it's so convenient with Saturn in the seventh when everybody else is always the problem, and it's not always that way. It's like you can't control other people. So what are we gonna do to make the world better? It's us. But, be the change you want to see. Not trying to get all Gandhi on y'all, but it's about living with intent. Mars in the 11th, mobilizing your associates, having a collective vision, not being afraid to step out on your own 2 feet and lead. What do you got to say? Because I know, I mean, like, I don't, my stove is on like 11 right now, fam.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel like you done took up all of what I had to say. I was like, you
That's
just,
okay. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I feel like Virgo, like the biggest obstacle that you guys have had to deal with was creating closure. And I feel like, yeah, I feel like you guys are like, you guys got the reunion card too. I think another sign got that card, but it was in reverse. Yeah, forgot what sign it was, but
I remember it though. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I feel like yeah, we got detached at the bottom of the deck too. I feel like it's so over. I feel like some of you Virgos had to like previously like detach from your reality, and it's like my higher self, like you're doing too much, fam. And it's like I feel like some of you like have this weird tendency to like, oh wow, okay, damn, okay, we got retribution and father out here coming out together too for you for Virgo.
Damn.
So Yeah, this doesn't apply to all Virgos, but I do feel like some of you Virgos have some deep father wounds. Okay, I'm getting the whole picture here. So some of you, this is regarding father wounds, and I feel like some of you wanted to get retribution on your father because of, these wounds and everything, creating obstacles and whatnot. And you guys have been working really hard on creating closure, like with this. And I feel like for some of you, it's taken you a really long time. Some of you have had to detach because the the trauma was so overwhelming. And I feel like this is a universal message, but I mean, some people go through their whole lives without healing any lick of trauma, and they literally just live their lives from the perspective of their trauma.
100%.
And and the fact that you guys, Virgo, you guys chose yourself, and I feel like you guys are learning to choose yourselves, and it's not easy. It's not always it's like every time it's like a new layer that you're uncovering every time you choose yourself because you guys have never done that before. I feel like, and I know that we've already skipped past Leo, but as a Leo rising myself, having that seventh house, that sun in the seventh, like some of us, go touching back on Leo real quick, but some of you, but this may apply to Virgo, but some of you guys may have been like codependent towards your father, that codependency, like since the sun, is our father, right? So I found myself to be at least early on to be codependent and trying to get validation from my father. My father was the one who had to, give me validation because, I have Moon Pluto. So my mom didn't really give me that validation. I had to learn from a very young age and some of you guys might relate to this too. Some of you had to learn from a very young age to validate yourself and, you had to grow up very quickly when it came to that aspect of not like having to rely on not being able to rely on other people. Um, and so like you guys learned from a very young age to detach from people. And it's like I can't even and trust issues too. It's like I can't even fucking trust you. It's like to a point where you've had to block yourself off. You're afraid to open up your heart and to any sort of relationship. It kind of just keep it on the surface level. And even on a surface level, it kind of scares you because it's like, what if it goes even deeper? It's like those fears creeping up.
Mm,
So,
powerful.
um, yeah, I kind of wanted to touch on that a lot because
I see it, King, and that's powerful because I think the sixth house, it's work, but it can also reflect some criticism too. And I feel like that
criticism.
healing, it can revolve around digging out these layers of critiques and these shoulds and these expectations that run so deep. And there comes the fear, the Saturn and the seventh of I need to be a certain way. Even in the quest of self-improvement, like these different molds that we feel like we have to fit into to be accepted, to be okay. And I think on the deepest level, it's about self-acceptance because in order to be your greatest, this is the craziest thing. In order to be your greatest version, you have to raise your standards. That's the only way you're going to grow. And there becomes this challenge where, you have to demand more, but at the same time, be willing to say that you're enough while you need more from yourself. And what's unfortunate is that, your best effort has to get better. And I'd say the unfortunate part of it is that your best won't be good enough at times because it has to improve. So it's a matter of perspective. Like my best is enough, even when it's not where I want it to be. And just choose to get better and give yourself like more praise for the effort. And it's not that, we should always get a participation trophy, but it's the fact that, one good deed deserves another. And if we're not validating the power of our intention, we're only going to wait till the result to validate it. And sometimes we don't get the result. You don't even get the fruit in the same season you plant the seed. So you have to be able to plant patiently and wait lovingly and then, reap without complaining later on. There's a
And
lot to it.
also, and yeah, and I'll also add to that, like being responsible with your fruit, because sometimes um some people get so caught up in they get so tired and during the labor that like when when the fruit starts to finally reap, however much time down the line, it's like you don't even want to put in the work to maintain your fruit. It's like, for some of you, like the fruit, the labor was the fruit, and so it's like some of you Virgos don't really allow yourselves to fully enjoy your fruit from, working hard because of, even more critiques. It's like, oh, you shouldn't do this or that with your fruit or whatever. So it's kind of just like balancing being responsible with your fruit, but also not being like a cheapskate where you're like not allowing yourself to enjoy the finer things in life because you deserve luxury.
Not being so damn judgmental is what I'm getting. And that's very Pluto in the sixth is like, you know, like thinking and working like a machine, and the machine has to be shut off every now and then, or else it's gonna just, short circuit or it's gonna overheat. And there needs to be time for rest as well. And health is it's a balance, we can't be too hyper focused on the work. So Virgo, just do your best and remember that's enough. Do your best and just instead of striving for like 1,000% gains, just 1% every day will put you on the exponential curve. Just 1% better. So, more power to the Virgos. What do we got right now?
Libra.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna let you take it away.
All right, bro.
Let's go.
All right. All right, Libra. So this is happening. You got Aquarius in your fifth house, which is where this new moon is going to be occurring in. And I've the vibes that I'm already kind of getting is you guys are gonna be like it's time for you guys to have this is like your time to have fun or create your own form of fun, and being innovative with anything creative that you have going on with your creative endeavors, your creativity, being being authentic and innovative with the way you express yourself, your expression, Libra. And you guys have Venus as your chart ruler, so it's very being innovative with you know, anything. I feel like I'm going in circles, but it's like I feel like Libra, you're breaking out of, you know, you're, building a new form of self-expression or creativity from a system that you've already like gotten yourselves comfortable with. Um, and even for some of you, new romance too, new love, with that fifth house. So, um, yeah, see, liberation. Yeah. So for self-expression is your key to liberation. This lunation Libra. Aligning your yeah, Mark. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I just said damn right. It's about getting their shine on.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Oh yeah. It's about that one. Yeah, exploring journaling. Yeah, I feel like Libra, you guys are being called to some of you Libras are going to be called to diversify your self-expression, your modalities of expression, because having one form of expression is not enough. You're going to have to diversify and delegate your self-expression to all different modes, whether it's dancing or singing or journaling. Certain things, in order for them to be released, they have to be expressed in a certain way. So certain things you might have to dance it out. Other times you might have to journal it out. Other times you might have to open up to a friend about it. Other times you might have to um journal it out. Some of you some you might have to talk to a therapist about it, or you know but I feel like this is really calling you guys to like expand your modes of expression and not really over relying on one form of expression to get everything out of it. So Yeah, that
Like that.
I feel like I cooked there. So
Yeah, you did. You absolutely did. And I think what I'm receiving, it's kind of, I don't want to call it messy, but it's like it's definitely tea for the Libra people because, this is the fifth house new moon, which is about new self, new expression, as you were talking about. Pluto in the fifth even wants these people to be a little self-obsessed. So, this can talk about your acquaintances, who you relate to, and sixth house Saturn is, do we have interruptions? Are people trying to hate on us? Are people trying to stop us from being who we are? It could even play out in your friend group, your personal connections. You got to make sure you're around people that love you and support you and, don't be afraid to cut people out. And, Mars is up there in the 10th house saying set more boundaries and take control of your life. It's about you being goal oriented right now, but self-obsessed, Libra rising, goal oriented, Mars in the 10th, self-obsessed, Pluto in the fifth. And I would encourage you again not to be a cruel dickhead, but if you're loving and pure in your intent, don't let people stop you. Don't let people silence you. Don't let people confuse you. Don't let people rock you to sleep. And I think when it comes to expectations of others and boundaries, you generally can skate by life guilt-free when you don't demand of others what you're not willing to provide to them, you know. So taking your own advice is super key. I think the North Node in the sixth is like, of course there's going to be a lot of need to express yourself and put you up on the center stage, but it all revolves around that North Node in the sixth house. Like, what is my contribution? How can I help the world? And let that be the focus. Let that be the guiding compass. And that's going to be warranting your self-obsession and goal orientation. You know, help this world be the change you want to be. Don't take on the weight of the world and all of its problems because that's too much for one person. I kind of think, and I was thinking this while you were saying your bit, is that this fifth house energy is like that's you in the spotlight, but Aquarius is the group. So it's like you being the one that brings people together, Libra, and being able to mobilize the group, help everybody move forward to something more powerful and shaking things up to their core. Uranus in the eighth house. I don't know why it took me this long to notice this, but this new moon is trine Jupiter, which is
yeah.
really cool. We have a very lucky month ahead of us. It's going to be largely a positive month, a lot of growth, a lot of expansion, and there's going to be a spiritual overtone to all of this. And as long as we're willing to grow and learn, things should be largely positive for everybody here. And, I don't encourage people to give less, especially when they love to give, because that's fulfilling, but to make sure your boundaries are in place, that you're not being taken advantage of, especially for the Libras out here. And again, it kind of goes back hand in hand. Don't be taking advantage of other people, or you're gonna fuck your shit up, fuck karma up, and just life's gonna get terrible. You did cook. They cooked.
Yeah. Yes,
Yep,
you did.
cooked. Tony, that candle just blew out too. They are cooked. Scorpio. Scorpio has Aquarius in the third, doesn't it? Oh, I'm
Uh,
tripping. It's the fourth.
the fourth.
Yep,
Yeah.
I jumped the gun.
On their
All right,
ice.
one more sign. So, oh, this is actually awesome. Scorpio rising, moon in the fourth. This is going to be a whole new chapter. This month is largely going to be about your inner world and you finding more fulfillment, more comfort within your life, your family, your friends, your privacy. That's going to be the focus. Scorpio people are mysterious off rip, but you'll see a lot of these people kind of fading into the background this time. And if you're not personally related to them in some way, it may be kind of harder to get in touch with them. So just understand that too. If you have Scorpio rising friends that, they kind of need to be in their feelings this month. And there's nothing wrong with that. And the Uranus is going to be in the seventh, and that's kind of about liberating yourself from connections or finding more high vibrational people within your life. And Saturn in the fifth is self-mastery, and working on developing a better person. So, you know, do understand that like if these people don't appear to be doing too much in the physical world, there's a lot going on internally. Like half of these planets are below the horizon, gang. So like there is so much going on inside of a Scorpio's soul right now. And, you know, Jupiter in the eighth house has them cooking, working on their magic, working on their long-term gains and growth. And you just gotta let them cook, fam. And I'll pull some cards for this as well. I see the Chiron in the sixth, perfectionism issues kind of getting in their way. Saturn in the fifth being really hard on themselves. And like it's about them finding fulfillment in regards to this North Node in the fifth and the full moon or the new moon in the fourth. I got the Fool's energy in their middle of their spread, like a whole rebirth. That's the beautiful thing about this new moon. I mentioned this previously, but because there's a cycle to the new moons and the full moons, it's been 1 year since we've had our last new moon in Aquarius. So we really need this energy. And the moon rules the fourth house. So, this is going to be deeply cathartic and healing for these people. And, I got the Fool card, I've got the Hermit card, and the Death card. That's Scorpio's card, healing the Scorpio people. Really cool that over this month. And, you know, um, to kind of hit it on the head, man, let me just put it in Pluto Mars terms for these Scorpio people. It's like you're going to be emotionally obsessed in this time of your life and like growth oriented, Mars in the ninth. So as long as you're willing to move forward, feel all these feelings and let them go, a lot of this could, and I'm like, dude, there's so much here as far as like the shadow work, the healing. We could name it and label it all, but I see a lot of it is about these Scorpio people finding their voice, overcoming illusions, limitations, ancestral traumas, their great grandparents' pain, just healing themselves from that. And sometimes it has to be done in isolation, you know? And this is actually a little bit more frustrating in the sense that Saturn in the fifth may kind of have these people confronting their self-imposed limitations where they've fed too much fear into their life and gotten in their own way and having to be more conscious of their own energy and less rude to themselves and stop confusing their expectations with obligations and stop getting your coulds and your shoulds mixed up. Because this is very Sun Saturn energy, Saturn in the fifth house. So not being so damn hard on yourself, Scorpio, loving yourself, Venus in the fifth, recognizing you're special, Neptune in the fifth, and being committed to yourself unreservedly, like really riding and ride or die for you, Scorpio. That's what it is every single day. To be willing to face your pain, Chiron in the sixth, but also recognize that there's nothing wrong with you at the same time. And you're not broken by design. Seriously. The universe doesn't make mistakes, so you're not broken by design. They cooked.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, right.
All right, let's go to Sagittarius. Keep it short and simple. The
Yeah.
Scorpio.
All right. Sagittarius is happening in your third house of siblings, social media, I think, right? Um,
100%.
yeah. So I feel like Sagittarius, I'm just gonna keep it short and sweet. I feel like you guys are it's a new beginning with the way you interact with social media, the way that you the way that you use technology to bring people together. And really using that Sag first house like ex expansion of self and really kind of just putting yourself out there and with the intention of like how can I innovate, you know, the platforms that I'm consuming, that I'm using, and being part of that change that you want to see, not being not trying to be Gandhi again, but
Hmm.
you
I
know,
also kind of feel like, it's flying through my head is breaking new dawn, communicating, expressing something new that literally requires you to let go of this old, which feels like that fourth house Saturn as well, breaking out of outmoded, forms of being, sixth house Uranus. And like you literally hit it on the head, that Gandhi energy, that's the seventh house Jupiter, like being the change you want to be, giving to the people, giving to the world, and remembering to always be a student as well.
yeah,
So I'm
see,
getting, yeah. What does that says?
yeah, communication popped out.
Real shit, dude. It's funny. I was about to say, Pluto in the third, communication obsessed, and then
Yeah,
power oriented, Mars in the eighth. Like, let's go. Make sure you guys talk your shit. And
and
Don't be afraid to say when you don't know something, Sagittarius. Like when you don't know, don't be making shit up, just trying to sound smart. Be willing to say, I don't know, but I'm gonna find out. You know, it's okay not to know things. You're not meant to know everything. Practice what you preach and only preach what you practice.
Yeah, Sagittarius, I feel like it's time for you guys to preach what you practice because I feel like some of you guys have been like gatekeeping your knowledge for too long. And it's like, and some of you may even have like, I feel like some of you, like, may have, some of these Sagittariuses might be concerned about, oh, how am I going to be received? How's what I'm going to say? How's what I'm going to communicate going to be received? And it's like, I feel like this analysis paralysis, and it's like as long as you are authentic, because authenticity did pop out of here, and we also have reciprocity that Jupiter in the seventh, um, and also have faith in yourself you that you're meant to be in this line of work in the way that you're meant to be and communicate, and all you have to do is start. Don't labor over the details of like how am I gonna do this because it's just gonna keep you at a place of like being stuck and not really putting yourself out there. So really all you just fucking start, Sagittarius, you know?
Just get started.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot of inner work with this one, a lot below the horizon too. Saturn in the North Node or in the fourth. And this might be deeply shamanic for these Sag people where, when it comes to the communication, I think a lot of this will deal with expressing ourselves outwardly, putting our voice to the world. But at the same time, on an internal level, there's going to be this dimension for the Sag people about things finally making sense from the past and adding meaning to the life that we've been living and recognizing that, there's a better way to do things. While it may not make sense, it's the best we had at the time, and finding acceptance for what life is. And then with that acceptance comes power and healing. That's that Mars Pluto, that Chiron in the fifth too.
And also like Sagittarius, like not using social media to as a way to abuse your power as it's like yeah, that that Pluto in the third.
Very
Like
powerful, yeah.
yeah,
Being the truth, and not fucking with people's heads. Pluto in the third, finding your voice, speaking with power, speaking with purpose, speaking with meaning. I got Pluto in the third. I feel it every day. It's like a thought can literally change the world. And information is potentially powerful too. So, they say people perish for the lack of knowledge. So educate yourself, but remember, not all knowledge is good knowledge. You can be brain rotted just by trying to take in too much. So I think it's time for Capricorn.
which is the last but not
Last but
least.
not least, save the best for last, I guess. Okay.
You guessed
Okay, yeah, let's move it to where it's supposed to go. That of course is going to put the new moon in the second house. And this is going to be about a new beginning when it comes to security, money, finance, and self-worth. So I see that, it's kind of like the glow up. The second house is our self-preservation instinct. It's life itself. So this is going to be more life for the Capricorn people. I'm trying to line it up still. So you got the new moon in the second. You've got Saturn ruling the moon in the third house, and you've got Uranus in the fifth house. So it's about breaking free and letting yourself be your true self, not holding yourself back in a box, especially with Pluto in the second, the sun in the second, the moon in the second. You could be way too Taurus right now, way too stubborn, closed off, and it's time to really let your true colors show, communicate your voice, let yourself be heard, and do understand relationships are going to be key. You want to be security obsessed, but relationship oriented. Pluto in the second, Mars in the seventh. And know that it's not what you know, it's who you know, Capricorn. Be willing to associate with others, share that gift, and I think it's about building a network, teamwork, making the dream work, you know. And beyond what result you get, are you having fun in your life too? Are you enjoying it, Mr. Krabs? Like, have a good time. Be around positive people. Enjoy this life. That's what it's meant to be for. And the third house, this is where like a lot of this is built on the third house. It's kind of like Sagittarius because they're next to each other, communicating your message, letting yourself be seen and heard, and at the same time, get out and get involved, have fucking fun. But I think needless to say, I'm gonna say it regardless though, but you know, Capricorn, this cycle for you is really gonna be about focusing on your money. I mean, and that's what these people focus on a lot of the time is stability, success, and you know, achievement. So, do you have the resources you need to be able to succeed? Do you need more skills? Do you need to pay bills? Do you need to invest and save your money? Probably all of the above, you know. And save your money so it can save you. The more money you have, the more you exist in the world. So, see a lot of this about financial goals, financial new beginning, and deeper than that, like there's self-worth, remakeup, and like you choosing to value yourself, love yourself on the deepest level. And you know, the second house could also reflect your investments that you make. So like, self-love is deeper than self-talk. It's like, are you not self-sabotaging? That's really the mark of your self-love. Are you fucking your life up intentionally? That can't be self-love. Seventh house Mars energy is saying you might have to cut people out of your life too. You know, you may have to be more direct in how you associate with people. I know that's the truth. Chiron in the fourth, healing your wounds, emotionally speaking. I see it as like, because Capricorn is the most no nonsense sign. So it's like, simply put, just keep this freaking heart open, solve your problems, and win. It doesn't go any further than that. You know, the rest is commentary. Don't waste your energy. Live life by your design. Remember who you identify as. You're identifying as a winner, and that's why you do win. That's why you take inspired action. And that's why you don't waste any fucking time. And that's why you're not concerned with the bullshit. You hate losers. You hate being around negative people because that rubs off on you negatively. And you don't like to be around people who like to lose. You like to win. So, you know, don't be afraid to be closed off from the world or to be the goat on top of the mountain and be your own damn self, Capricorn. That's what I'm getting is like the best thing you can give the world and contribute is an example rather than telling people how to be a certain way. And this is really in regards to this third house energy. Rather than telling people how to be a certain way, show them how to be. And when they ask you, then you can tell them. But don't be meddling in other people's affairs. You'll know people want your help because they what? They ask you for help. For real. And go off. Queens and kings, sixth house Jupiter says try not to get in your own nerves. Try to simplify your schedule, your routine. Simplification is key. You may be really busy at this time, Capricorn. So simplify and do with that what you will. That's what I'm getting. Is like, I got that 10 of Pentacles in reverse. So it's heavy about that money. Like if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So if you're not checking your bank accounts, you're not tracking your net worth, like you're not giving a fuck, honestly. And that's as blunt as I can put it, you know. You gotta give a fuck. You gotta care. Nobody's gonna care as much for you as you need to care for you.
And with that Mars in the seventh, it's time to access got access denied out here. That's really
Right. Time to block some people. Time to really start
yeah.
the block button.
Eh, hell yeah. And really learning Capricorn that your energy is very valuable and not everybody stop giving everybody access to you.
Amen. The more
Yeah.
people that have access to you, the lower your value goes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, that speaks to that second house, right? Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
And I
100%.
yeah, and with that Chiron fourth house, it's time for you guys to release, emotionally release, and some of this might be tied to past lives. Got past life connection here. Some of it may be tied. Some of you will have to release through self-expression. Oh, this background really sucks. I'm sorry.
It shows up though. I can see it.
Oh,
Yeah.
it does. Okay, okay, yeah, self-expression. All right.
You kind of
Um,
gotta finesse it though.
they gotta finesse it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Capricorn, stop invalidating your fucking truth because
That
we got validation and speak your truth out here. Um, and also that goes on the same coin to not invalidate other people either and their truth as well. Um, yeah, and we also have financial stability reversed. So I feel like there's a lot of things on the below the horizon. There's a lot of your inner world has been pretty chaotic, and some of you have been like that Chiron fourth house needs to be worked through quite a bit of like because that's like that stability, right? That inner world, right? So I feel
Uranus in the
like
fifth too. Find
yeah,
yourself. You
yeah. Mm, yeah, but we also got your hard work will pay off.
I know that's motherfucking right.
Yeah.
Hard work betrays none. I feel like it's worth noting because we've gone through the whole zodiac, it's Aquarius energy and it's us that makes the world up. And no matter what you're doing, even if you are Capricorn or any sign in between, we are social creatures by design and we are wrapped around people. And we are always going to get more with a unified effort, a collaborative effort, as opposed to an individual one. So we need to know how to work with people to multiply our effort. And at the same time, we can't be so socially oriented to the point where we don't take action until we have people supporting us. That is the inner leader, to be willing to step out on your own 2 feet and take charge. Leaders set the pace, they don't follow. But at the same time, true leaders know when to take a step back and defer to others that are stronger than them. And they know how to delegate too. So that's really important too, is that we know how to employ the strengths of other people on our path.
In Capricorn, there's new beginnings. I didn't even see this card as I was shuffling, but this is what you don't see. There's new beginnings that you don't see that are coming your way too. So get excited.
Get excited. And now that we've gone full circle, we may do a couple more for the whole moon in Aquarius yet again. And it's worth reminding the full moon in Leo is coming up next. So not letting pride get in your way is going to be really key, that you remember that your contribution to the world is you. Be the person that you admire and give that to the world. Evolution is really the only solution. Self-mastery is really the only form of success. And this is real water bearer energy, the King of Cups, to be willing to feel your feelings. While this is air energy, it asks you to be very smart, intellectual, use your reasoning. Connection, which is emotion, connection is direction at the same time. And I don't have too much to say because I know we spun the block, 12 times, man. Just like your daily habits, your daily self-talk, it creates the life you're living. That can create a ripple effect. Seeing the hermit plus the tower, it could create a whole ripple effect. Don't underestimate what you can do in a day, but don't overestimate. I should say, let me say it again. I'm sorry. Don't overestimate what you can do in a day, but don't underestimate what you can do in a year.
Yes, yeah, we got new romantic cycle out here. We got your yeah, new love for some of us. Okay, yeah, and some of you, this is like a new cycle of falling a deeper level of self-love too. If you happen to be single, for my singles out there, um, we got financial freedom popping out again for the umpteenth
Mm.
time.
It's amazing because unless I'm gonna pull up the new moon just in its own because I was moving it hour by hour. I'm
Mhm.
gonna put it back to like the regular lunation because we do have some very interesting aspects. Whoops. The new moon we're going to have Venus conjunct to Neptune, which I think is beautiful. That touches on the love and the money,
Mhm.
you know, new identity with the Aquarius energy too. There's going to be a lot to say about mental health, Mercury, Pluto, an expanded sense of self, Jupiter trying the new moon. Very lucky cycle we're moving into, guys. I think the power really lies in collaboration. So, all this Pisces energy, there's no telling what the universe is going to bring for us. So, I would just say be ready to receive good things in the world. Open yourself up to receiving things better than you imagine them to be. Welcome in blessings, and just know life can be really beautiful. And I think we cooked. So, with that being said, you guys can find all of our information in the bio, in the description, whether you need to book a personal reading, get a one-on-one, or get a book or some curriculum. If you want a deeper dive into your personal astrology or you want clarity on issues in your personal life, you know where to find us. So let me know how you guys enjoyed this. Thank you, Christian, for being part of this.
Of
It's an
course, bro.
honor, and
Yeah.
there can be more exciting videos to come. Blessed be.